Welcome to All West on Wire today. We're talking about Ali Akbar's strong condemnation of a recent political remark regarding Sabah. If you somehow missed this one, you missed one of the fastest political firestorms we've seen in a while, and it was all triggered by something so simple, almost absurd.
A loaf of bread?
A loaf of gardenia bread, to be specific.
That's really the core of it, isn't it? A politician from Kedah, Mansour Zakaria, made this off-the-cuff comment. He was basically suggesting that getting votes in the Sabah state election is easy.
Right.
You just need to offer voters something as trivial as bread.
And it completely exploded. It became this huge national conversation about dignity, about regional identity.
And, whether some parts of the country are still seen as, well, politically cheap.
So today we want to understand why this specific comment, which, let's be honest, sounds almost comically clumsy, wasn't just a simple mistake.
No, it was seen as a fundamental attack.
A fundamental attack on the political identity of Sabah. And it forced a really serious high-level response from his own colleague, Datuk Ali Akbar.
Yeah, this really isn't about bread. It's about the perceived value of a voter's dignity.
And measuring that against, what, a few ringgit?
Exactly. So let's look at what was actually said. The video clip showed Mansour Zakaria suggesting that, when you're out campaigning in Sabah, voters just need gardenia bread.
It's the casualness of it.
That's the insult. It's not the food itself. It's the implication that the political choice of an entire state can be bought with something that costs maybe 4 or 5 ringgit.
It implies a staggering lack of respect
For the whole democratic process.
Yeah.
For the intelligence of the voters there.
And the reaction, it was immediate. And it was widespread.
Oh, absolutely.
This wasn't just the usual, partisan noise.
No.
It struck a nerve right across the political spectrum in Sabah. Why? Why is a comment about bread so powerful?
Because it plays into a much older, much deeper narrative. A structural resentment, really.
You mean the perception that Sabah and Sarawak are often treated differently?
Treated as politically easy or, economically second tier to West Malaysia. It connects directly to decades of these perceived slights.
Okay, so you're talking about things that go way back.
Way back. We're talking about feelings that connect to the Malaysia Agreement, 1963, to MA 63. There's this persistent feeling in Sabah that their status, their autonomy, their fair share of the country's resources.
Especially oil and gas revenues.
Especially that it's all been ignored or undervalued for a very long time.
So when a politician from the peninsula basically says, your vote is worth a loaf of bread.
It's like a confirmation of their worst fears. It confirms that underlying attitude, that Sabah's votes are marginal, they're disposable, easily bought.
It weaponizes that history.
It does. And that is exactly why the response from Datuk Ali Akbar was so critical.
So let's talk about him. He's a central committee member of his party, and he was a candidate himself.
A key one. For the Careless state seat under the Perikatan National Coalition, he couldn't just let this slide. He had to perform immediate political damage control.
And he did. He delivered a really severe condemnation of his own coalition colleague.
It wasn't a quiet word behind the scenes.
No, this was a loud, very public statement. So was that pure politics? Or was it a genuine moral stand?
I think it was both. It had to be. It was a necessary political move that was built on a real principle. He was absolutely unequivocal. He said the dignity of the people of Sabah must never be cheapened.
Or used as a punchline.
Exactly. Or used for some contemptuous political comparison. And think about the risk he's taking there.
He's criticizing someone from his own side.
His own political family, yes.
Yeah.
But the risk of not saying anything was far, far greater for him in Sabah.
He would lose all credibility.
He would lose the trust of the local voters. And losing that trust would have cost him that key Kurambunai seat.
He had that one line that just cut through everything.
A defining line, yeah.
Sabah people have dignity. They cannot be bought with a few loaves of gardenia bread.
It's powerful because it directly contrasts the absurdity of the bribe with the gravity of a democratic choice. It flips the insult right back.
He perfectly understood the moment.
He did. He's running in a state where voters are hyper-aware of being treated like a secondary concern. So by drawing this really hard line in public, he's telling his voters, look, I'm one of you. I get it. I know what you value.
And that value is not measured in ringgit.
Precisely. He took it from being a simple regional spat and elevated it to a defense of fundamental voter integrity.
To really get the pressure he was under, we should probably talk more about the economic side of this. When Sabah politicians talk about disrespect, it often comes back to that 40% net revenue entitlement.
Right. The constitutional
That
promise.
Sabah should get 40% of the net revenue the federal government gets from the state. It's a huge ongoing issue.
And that's the core of the structural disrespect they feel. So when the Sabah government is raising these major concerns about billions in revenue, about economic parity,
And then a politician suggests their votes are worth some bread.
the insult is just magnified 100 times. It implies that a state fighting for potentially billions of ringgit can be satisfied with a handout worth, what, 5 ringgit?
It minimizes everything, their political savvy, their legitimate economic grievances.
Yes. So Ali Akbar's defense wasn't just about hurt feelings. It was a complete rejection of that, well, that patronizing attitude that sometimes comes from West Malaysia.
He basically turned his colleague's massive blunder into a platform.
A platform to champion Sabah's self-respect.
And that's why his position as a candidate in Karambunai was so important.
State elections in Sabah are often a kind of referendum on the relationship with the federal government.
Yeah.
Ali Akbar absolutely had to separate himself from any hint of that federal condescension,
And his quick, forceful response did that. It showed his loyalty was with Sabah first.
even if it created some awkwardness within the Perikatan National Coalition.
So what happened to the original politician, Mansur Zakaria?
Well, he did issue an apology.
Right, during the Kedah State Assembly. He acknowledged it, he took it back. So
Right.
does that just close the case?
And that's the real question for everyone watching this, isn't it? How much is an apology really worth when the original comment seems to reflect a much deeper bias? Ali Akbar's point wasn't really addressed by a simple, sorry for causing offense.
Because the insult wasn't just a slip of the tongue.
It was an assumption about the political value of Sabah's voters.
He wasn't just apologizing for insulting people. He was apologizing for, well, for revealing how some politicians might actually see the political landscape in East Malaysia.
You can fix the interpersonal conflict with an apology,
But you can't dismantle the perception of systemic disrespect.
and that perception is everything. In the dynamic between West and East Malaysia, talk about local respect, about autonomy, that's the real political currency. So every time an incident like this happens, it just strengthens the resolve of local leaders pushing for more power, more economic justice, always citing MA 63.
So this whole thing, this silly comment about bread, it actually became another piece of evidence in their larger argument.
Inadvertently, yes.
The political lesson here seems pretty stark. In this age of social media, everything is instant.
There's no hiding.
A casual comment in the Kedah State Assembly travels thousands of kilometers in a second, and it can undo months of careful coalition building.
It means political figures have to be so vigilant, so careful, especially when talking about sensitive regional issues.
You just can't afford to be clumsy.
Not when these deep historical grievances are just below the surface. Ali Akbar understood that. He knew the price of political disrespect is far, far higher than the cost of any bribe.
Or any apology.
The offense just lingers, long after the bread is gone.
And that's really the tension here, isn't it? You have this casual, dismissive comment suggesting the will of a people can be bought for pocket change.
And then you have the immediate, principled, and frankly, very smart political reaction from Datuk Ali Akbar.
Defending the dignity of the people he wants to represent.
So the question to think about is, does the speed and strength of the condemnation matter more than the apology that eventually came?
And does an incident like this force all political coalitions to fundamentally rethink how they view voters in the Borneo states?
They'll have to. The political price of disrespect, as this shows, is far higher than a few ringgit. A very rapid, very essential lesson in the value of regional pride.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.